What are we doing? Welcome in, everybody. I'm Seth Floyd Hansen. This is the Seth Floyd Show, and with me, I have my greatest enemy in life.
Rivals.
This is my. Are we friends?
Frenemies.
Frenemies faux show. This is my brother-in-law and my friend Scott, and we decided today. Well, he was begging me. Let's be real.
I didn't beg you.
You were begging.
No, I said if I can come on, that'd be great.
He was begging. And we've got a special episode today because, as you guys know, 49ers Cowboys this Sunday night. We spend hours and hours at work arguing over the 49ers, over the Cowboys, over who's a more miserable fan base. Yeah. And this season goes along with that really well. And so we decided it felt appropriate that we would try this out, do a little video. Of course, we are in Scott's disgusting office today.
Best. We got all my stuff.
Emmett Smith, got Michael Irvin above my left shoulder. So let's see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen.
Okay.
I think we'll keep it pretty civil
Pretty good.
to the most part. We don't ever cross the line too often, but sometimes we do.
If he crosses the line, he's fired. So.
Oh yeah, Scott kind of is my boss, actually, if we're being honest. So he does have the power. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna ask Scott a handful of questions as a Cowboys fan, and I'll hop in and answer some of them, like the questions that apply to me, and then we'll give you our keys to the game. So first up, Scott, why does Jerry Jones hate Derrick Henry so much?
He doesn't hate Derrick Henry, okay? It had to do. Don't get me started on Jerry Jones.
Okay.
I think he's a great owner, but a terrible GM. I mean, if you can get your business to be worth $10 billion, you're doing something right. But we haven't won anything in 25 years, 28 years, so it's terrible.
How much did he purchase the Cowboys for? Do you remember?
I can't remember. A few hundred million, I think. 150 million?
Okay. 150 million to 10
think so.
million. Okay, it's fine. Also, if you live in the Dallas area, which most of you probably don't, but if you live in the Dallas area, Jerry has his hands in everything in this area, and so he's an incredible businessman for sure. But he hates Derrick Henry, so that's probably a character flaw of his. How do you feel? Give me a general feel for the season so far as a Cowboys fan.
Sucks. We are so down on the Cowboys this year because we know we're not going to go anywhere. We know it's going to be it feels like one of those terrible 8-8 seasons under Jason Garrett.
Sure.
Where you're just spinning your wheels in mud and you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Because we know we're not going to make the playoffs or go anywhere if we do make the playoffs. We're going to lose a wild card game if we even go. And we're not going to get a top 10 draft pick because we're going to win some games.
Yeah, it's honestly the worst position.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Yeah. I feel a little like that with the Niners because you're not going to tank so far in the season where you're picking like top 10 super juicy. You're just going to be right in that terrible mix. So what is your so obviously that's like an
we're down. Everybody's down.
Everybody's down. So what is the ceiling for the Cowboys the rest of the season?
Ceiling, maybe you win a wild card game if you get a good matchup against the Bears. But I don't think we're going to make the playoffs anyway.
Yeah.
I don't. I think we're going
to... Do the Cowboys have to win the division to make the playoffs?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no way we're getting a wild card at 9-8.
That's how I feel about the Niners too. Okay. Sorry, man.
It is what it is.
Would you rather... I know we're talking about that terrible spot you'll be in. Would you rather make the playoffs or would you rather miss and pick at 15?
No, I'd rather make the playoffs because then you can have some hope like... Maybe we can win some playoff games. Yeah. Maybe we can make something happen. There's always that hope. Yeah. If you are, if you're 7-8 heading into those final weeks, you're just dead inside.
I feel like I'm dying inside.
Yeah.
Because you're going to pick around 16th, 15th, 16th, 17th in the draft, and
you just don't care.
You just don't care.
I got you. Okay. Who is your least favorite 49er?
Deebo Samuel.
Really?
Without a doubt, Deebo.
It's not even close?
Well, I don't like Kittle.
I know you don't like anybody.
I don't like anybody, okay? The 49ers suck, okay? 49ers are the worst. But Deebo just is the worst. He's arrogant, he's cocky, he beats us every time. He's good, so it sucks.
first off, he's not even arrogant or cocky.
He did.
The Netflix receiver
he was okay on the
really
Netflix
made
receiver.
Debo look really good because
he was fine.
He seems like really authentic, and he's not.
Oh, I also hate Trent Williams. Suck. He's the worst.
That
hated him
Josh, throw up that picture of Trent Williams flipping off the Cowboys fan, or he's getting flipped off and he's laughing at him after the wild card round.
Hate it.
Okay. So your first was Debo, then you said Kittle.
Debo.
Is Kittle just because the F Dallas shirt that he has? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my wife says he's the ugliest 49er. He has golden hair every time.
He's like my favorite, though. He's like my favorite 49er right now.
No,
he's my favorite 49er because he's the only one who consistently plays and shows up and has had good games for us this season. Yeah. So top three are Debo.
No, I would change it up. I would put Debo 1, then I put Trent, and then I would put probably Kittle 3rd.
For Kittle.
Yeah.
Why isn't it Bosa? Is it because he has no personality and he just doesn't talk?
When I watch you guys, especially on defense, I'm watching Fred Warner to see where he goes. And then every time Bosa makes a play, I'm like, oh, okay, that's a good play. But I feel like he hasn't done anything this last year.
His
year was 2 years ago, and he was great.
He's had a classic.
And he's had a down year, so.
If you just box score watch, and I've been critical of Nick Bosa, if you box score, you're like, what is this guy doing? He's not even that good. But if you like advanced metrics, analytics, you're like, oh my gosh, he gets tons and tons of pressures. It just doesn't show up in the box score. He's great in the run game too. Anyway,
nobody cares about advanced analytics. Nobody cares about that.
Some people do, like me. Okay, fine. That's fair. For me, okay, I don't even hate your team that much because we beat you every time. So I actually like.
What's your top three?
No, I'll tell you. Like I will say this, and this is like to chagrin of 49er fans. Like if you care, like I don't hate the Cowboys. I've told you this. I don't hate the Cowboys like most 49ers fans do. Maybe because I just miss that. Like my dad will do any. He says frequently. He says he was in high school in the 80s, graduated in the 80s. Like he frequently says, I like watching the Cowboys lose as much as I like watching the 49ers win, and I don't feel that way. Maybe I'm soft on that because I live here and I've married into a Cowboys family, but I don't hate you guys as much, partly because we beat you every time. But here are my least favorite.
Okay, go ahead.
Micah for sure is at the top. Now, I would take Micah on my team in a heartbeat.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday.
I would, 100%. But Micah on his stupid podcast can't help himself from saying the dumbest things. In any kind of interview setting, he says the dumbest things. Remember he went on that tour with CJ Stroud this offseason?
That was great.
And he just kept saying, no, he kept saying dumb things. Like when they asked him, they were talking about the NBA, and they were like, how many points would you have?
That's
he was like, I think about 20. And CJ Stroud like looked at him like, dude, you are so out of like reality. And then you could say like confidence, like I appreciate Micah's confidence. But what other Cowboys can you hate? He's the only one that like talks. He's the only one that has like a real personality. If you hate Dak, then it's because if you hate Dak, it's because of you just think he chokes in big spots. But like, Dak has never beaten my team, so I don't have those feelings towards Dak. Like, I don't feel that towards Dak Prescott. Same with CD. Like, CD, I think, is a great receiver, and he's never torched my team, so I don't have any of these like feelings. So the only player I dislike on your team is Micah.
Yeah.
Also, I'm pissed because before that draft, I said Micah Parsons is the best defensive player in the draft, and then the 49ers traded 3 first-round picks for a wet fart named Trey Lance who plays for the Cowboys now, and we could have had Micah Parsons. So that's partly where my bitterness comes from.
Best 4th-round pick we ever could. So Trey Lance,
Yeah, dude.
Love it.
That
Jerry Jones is the GM. Perfect.
That is an all-time terrible trade.
Gosh.
Terrible. All right. Which 49ers loss in recent years, since I've been here, hurts the most? Which one hurts
you guys?
Hurts you the most.
Hurts us?
You as a fan was the hardest to stomach and hardest to watch. I think I know what it is, but I'm curious what you think.
The Dak slide, the wild card loss.
Wild card run.
Yeah. We were favored. We should have won that game.
At home.
And that's when I started to hate Debo because he killed us that game.
Yeah.
It was hard to stomach.
Touchdown run.
And just the final play. I get it, the divisional round a couple years ago.
Sure.
That sucked, but the wild card round 3 years ago, that one hurt.
Yeah, that one tough because the Niners were seconds away from not even making the playoffs because they had to win that game against the Rams, and then they go in and beat you guys. We watched that game together. Yeah. Did we watch the divisional round together?
Yes.
We just didn't watch last year's together.
No.
Yeah.
No,
that's the one I expected you to say, but is that one because it was a wild card game, but it wasn't last year's Sunday night game?
Last year's Sunday night game? No, because I knew we weren't going to win that game anyway, and so I was just down. We were down at halftime, and I wasn't as hyped as I was for the playoff games.
Yeah,
and so I just didn't.
That makes sense. Yeah. For me, the best win, my favorite win for sure, was last year's Sunday night game, which I know the other ones were in the playoffs, but the wild card round, like, we were just playing with house money, and I was hyped that we won, obviously. And then the divisional round, obviously excited we won. That was the scariest one, though. That was the one where I was like, I don't know if we're going to win this game because your defense played so good in that game. Yeah. It just was a couple turnovers that killed you.
Dang, man. Freaking Fred Warner.
Yeah, dude.
Fred Warner killed us.
He's the man. But last year's Sunday night game put me on the highest I've ever been watching a 49ers game. Because I was nervous. Like, you guys had one bad game against the Cardinals.
Well, you guys were undefeated.
We were undefeated. You guys had one slip up against the Cardinals.
Yep.
But you dominated the Patriots the next week. And so it was big time. And then...
It's domination by you guys.
From start to finish, it was... Yeah, that put me on this high. But then karma got to me, and we went on a 3-game losing streak right after. So, okay, all right. How do you feel about Kyle Shanahan?
It's good.
An honest take. I need this for 49er fans.
Honest take.
49. Okay, listen, 49er fans. If you are a 49er fan out there screaming that Kyle Shanahan needs to be fired, I want you to listen to how Scott feels about Kyle Shanahan and about how his current head coach.
Okay, so Kyle Shanahan's a good coach, really good coach. Probably top 5 in the league. You could argue top 3. His scheme and his offense, brilliant. Perfect. Okay, if he has a competent quarterback, he's going to win you 12-plus games a year. Easy. Really good coach. The problem is I think he's too player dependent. Can I say that?
You say whatever you want.
He's too dependent. Yeah, he's too dependent on key star players. And I don't know if he's a good coach, like preparing young guys, especially rookies, to step into those roles that CMC can step into. But other than that, great head coach. I'll trade you Mike McCarthy for Shanny right now.
What head coaches in the league would you take over Kyle Shanahan right
now? Andy Reid, probably LaFleur.
You would take LaFleur over Shanahan?
Yeah, I think
Shanahan has beaten LaFleur in the playoffs 3 times.
Yeah,
LaFleur's never beaten Shanahan in the playoffs.
This is just argumentative. Sure.
Hey, you're dang right. It's argumentative.
I'll take Ben Johnson. Sirianni, obviously, I'd take over Shanny. Yeah, that's pretty good.
So you're serious? You would take LaFleur over Shanahan?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. Who else? There's just those 2?
Yeah.
Would you take McVay over?
McVay probably.
Because he's got a Super Bowl.
Got a Super Bowl. Okay. He's good.
Is there anybody else?
No. Like I said, top 3, top 4.
Okay. No, you wouldn't take Mike Tomlin?
No, Mike Tomlin, I wouldn't. I don't want defensive coaches.
Okay.
I don't want defensive coaches.
I agree. I don't have any problems with that. Andy Reid for sure. I've been on record. We talked about this yesterday. I might take McVay over Shanny, but I'd probably take Shanny over LaFleur because LaFleur has had disappointing and maybe that was Aaron Rodgers' fault, but I can't get up. We've beaten Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs with LaFleur multiple times, and I'm just like, how did you lose to us when you had Aaron Rodgers? But that's fair. But see, 49er fans.
But if you guys talk about firing Shanny, it'll be the worst move in 49ers history.
It's probably worse than firing Jim Harbaugh when we fired Harbaugh.
Yeah.
And the reason that happened is because Harbaugh and Balky couldn't get along, the GM. Something had to be done. But if you just fired Shanahan because you guys were in the Super Bowl last year, I get that we didn't win
twice the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, we've gone to 3 straight NFC Championship games.
Get out of here.
Anyway, most spoiled franchise of the moment besides the Chiefs, but acting like entitled babies. Last before, and then we'll get to our keys to the game.
Okay.
Oh, let me tell you, I think about Mike McCarthy. Okay, I want to get
Mike McCarthy. Okay.
I have been I don't know why, but I've been a Mike McCarthy defender a little bit because everyone goes the opposite way. This is what people do with Dak. This is what people do with Purdy, and they do it with Mike McCarthy. Like, he has been disappointing at times, like in the playoffs for you guys.
Yes.
And so we act like, and I say this term a lot, like he's the village idiot. Like he is just a moron. And he's not. He's not a moron. I think he's a top 15 head coach in the NFL.
In terms of what, though?
His
of
resume. Yeah, in terms of winning.
Yeah, probably.
You have 12-5, 3 straight years. Now, do I trust him in a playoff game? No. So if you want to move on from McCarthy for that reason, then fine. But I'm just saying, for me, if I'm a Cowboys fan, I'd be like, look, McCarthy probably isn't winning us a Super Bowl, but I am not going to ignore the fact that we've gone 12-5. And everyone wants to talk about how Jerry Jones, yourself included, is the worst GM in the league. So how are you going 12-5? If Jerry Jones is the worst,
he's a good coach. He's a good coach. Okay. He doesn't get enough credit. He doesn't get enough credit for those.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
he's definitely. I don't know if he's underrated in that sense because people kind of know who he is. Okay. He's a good coach. I don't know if he's the best situationally, but he's got a good scheme.
I can tell you he's not the best. He's got a good
scheme. And when he got Dak, he raised Dak to play like an MVP caliber player these last couple of years. Dak was okay with Jason Garrett, but once we got Mike McCarthy raised his level of play better than he got under Jason Garrett.
And actually, I think a telling thing was Kellen Moore left, and then Dak had his career year.
Yeah.
And I love Kellen Moore. I'm a Boise State guy, but even with Philly, when they don't run the ball well, they struggle. There's limitations with
Kellen Moore isn't raising anybody to play their best.
Right. I agree with that. So do you think he's a top 15 head coach in the NFL?
Yeah.
I can't think of 15. There may be not.
Who's won more games the last 3 years besides the Cowboys? Probably the Chiefs. You guys, maybe.
Chiefs.
I don't have that numbers in front of me, but that's the only thing that matters when it comes to coaching is wins.
Yeah, your bottom line.
Doesn't matter about style points. Doesn't matter. That's why Tomlin is a really good coach.
Yeah.
Because he wins.
It's gross every year.
Doesn't matter.
It's ugly.
The only thing that matters for coaches is wins, and he wins 12 games in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Like this year, he's going to win 8-9 games with a team that probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
He's a good coach. I don't know if I want him full to be extended. It really just depends. I'm kind of torn.
Really?
Kind of torn. Yeah.
Because I say all that, but I also think if you bring back McCarthy, it's
great.
I would be surprised. I'd be surprised because
I'm excited to see who we can replace him with.
Yeah.
Are we replacing him with a Bill Belichick, a Ben Johnson, somebody that's going to raise your team even better?
I think Jerry.
Or are we going to bring in somebody like a defensive coordinator?
You're just going to hire Mike Zimmer.
Oh my gosh.
I think Jerry needs to back channel, somehow get ideas from Ben Johnson, which they do this kind of thing all the time. Would you be interested?
Yeah.
If I let Mike McCarthy go, would you be interested? Or Vrabel is the name that is going to be one of the best hires. Whatever team gets Vrabel. Yeah. I know you don't like defensive head coaches, but Vrabel's team was the number 1 seed with Ryan Tannehill as his quarterback. He played in an AFC Championship game with Ryan Tannehill as his freaking quarterback, and he had the lead in that AFC Championship game.
I get it, but I want my quarterback and my head coach to be united. I want them to be a dynamic duo.
Sure.
And Mike McCarthy and Dak, they're good together. They're good together. So I'm fine with Mike McCarthy being the head coach.
So you think this year is more a case of the roster construction than anything McCarthy? When you're watching on Sunday, you're not yelling at McCarthy. You're yelling at this.
No, I'm yelling at our defensive line. I'm yelling at our offensive line.
Sure. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I think you need to know who's interested because you don't want to just fire McCarthy and then be like Ben Johnson, I'm not working for Jerry Jones or Vrabel's, I have no interest, or Belichick, no interest. So then you're stuck, who am I going to hire? Yeah, so I get it. That's fair. I think we're on the same page with McCarthy. I don't think he's the best coach by any means, but everyone overreacts when he fails in the playoffs, and it's just not fair.
So we'll see.
All right, my final question before we each get to our keys of the game.
Okay.
How do you feel about Brock Purdy?
Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Good. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's a little underrated.
Okay.
But again, you see his record with and without CMC.
Yeah.
Or with and without the Avengers, and it's not that good. It's a 500. So I don't know if he's elevating the team as much as Shanny is or the other players around him are. But he's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
He's a good quarterback.
Where would you rank him?
About 11.
Okay.
Yeah, 11, 12.
He's on that cusp of the top 10.
Yeah.
That's fair.
He's bottom second tier, probably for me.
Okay.
Probably for me.
Okay. How much of this is recency bias because of the dog crap performance
all of it.
he put out on Sunday?
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't, like, I'm higher on Brock than you are.
Yep. But I'm not down on Brock.
Sure.
He's a great player.
Yeah. My thing with the no Avengers thing is, like, when guys are out, anyway, this Chiefs game, it's one thing to game plan all week without any of your top 3 receivers. It's another thing when last minute you haven't game planned, Debo has walking pneumonia, and then before halftime, Ayuk tears his ACL.
That's not a Brock
I
issue. That's a Shanny issue.
No, listen to me.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not, because you're game planning for these guys to be there. When you have to get rid of those guys, and now you have rookie receivers that haven't taken the ones, haven't run the reps, you're so limited because you didn't prepare for it all week, because you don't have time. You have to prepare with the guys that you think are going to play. I think that game looks different if you knew Debo was going to be out and you knew Ayuk was going to be out, and he would have been more comfortable with these rookie receivers running more routes, and the playbook would have been expanded. But when you lose them mid-game, your playbook shrinks like crazy. It's the same thing that happened last year against Cleveland when Debo gets knocked out of the game, or against the Packers last year in the playoffs, Debo gets knocked out of the game, and all of a sudden your playbook shrinks because Debo is this ultimate, like, Swiss Army knife that you haven't been able to prepare. Like, what do we do when he's gone?
Do you not have plays, though, without him in the lineup that you can run, that you can be successful at?
You have plays in the lineup that you can run, but when you have other plays set up off of what Debo does, it changes everything. Not only are those plays you're going to want to run with Debo where he gets the ball, but the plays you're setting up down the road, you no longer are setting up because you don't have anybody else who can just fill into that role. The offense changes as a whole schematically when Debo is not in there and when Christian's out. And when you have both of them out, then you are limited because Kyle's scheme depends somewhat. It has evolved into this scheme that depends on a Swiss Army knife because it creates mismatches.
That's exactly. So when you don't have those mismatches, you have to be able to call plays and do other things that can have success and get you touchdowns and everything like that.
My point is he can do it like this week. I don't think Debo's going to play. So he's going to game plan and have an offense where he doesn't have to rely on that, and he's been ready for it. The problem with Sunday is Debo has walking pneumonia during warm-ups, and he's like, we have built this game plan. You don't have time to build multiple game plans. I'm going to build an entire game plan if Debo is out. He's healthy. Why would I waste my time doing that? The problem is it was last minute, and now he's scrambling like, I have plays that these guys can run, but it is not the game plan that we've practiced all week. There's a difference.
Okay.
That's my argument. But my point with Brock is,
we're
Brock,
talking about Brock.
I know.
We were talking about Brock. And
my thing with Brock is like, of course he's gonna look less than spectacular with his top 3 guys out. Now, what he did on Sunday was beyond that. What he did on Sunday was much worse than just your top 3 receivers were out. It looked like to me he was just trying to make plays. He was trying to be a hero a little bit without some of those guys in there, and that was not. It was bad.
It's
Poor
weird.
decisions.
I've seen great decision making out of Purdy, great decision making throughout 25 games or whatever his career is, and then a few games where I'm just asking myself, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Same thing with Dak. Same thing with Dak. Same thing with Purdy. You're just like, "What are you doing?" Yeah. Like the interception in the end zone or the interception on the rollout.
The first pick.
What are you doing?
The first pick to me was the most egregious.
Yeah,
because it was first down.
It was bad.
You had just gotten the stop on the fake punt. That when you see the wide angle, like Reed is there the entire time. It wasn't like he was hiding and he came out. Like he just threw it, even though I don't know how he didn't see him.
I don't know.
So
everybody has bad games.
Sure,
Purdy's good. He's gonna be your quarterback for a long time. Okay. You should be happy with it. You should be happy. You can win games with Purdy and Shanny together. I think you can win games. It'll be good. It'll be fine. So I'm not down on Purdy. I am concerned about his productivity when you don't have your stars. But a lot of quarterbacks can't play good when they don't have their stars.
Sure. I think
you should just game plan. If you don't have Debo, hold on, I'm going to go back to this. If you don't have Debo, you should be able to game plan and have plays because he's going to miss 2 or 3 games a season. So why don't you have success without him, without CMC?
Because having plays in the offense that you can run and be successful at are different than your weekly game plan. Because your weekly game plan is specifically tailored to whatever the defense is doing that week. So you are, not only that, but you're repping the plays. So he's got plays, but if he's like, these plays won't work against Kansas City's defense, or I like these plays more with Debo, now all of a sudden Debo's out. You've got a handful of plays that these guys can run, but you haven't repped them in a few weeks because you knew these plays are not ideal against the Chiefs defense. So if you haven't repped them in a few weeks, he's like, I could just throw it out there, but the chances are Brock's not going to be on time. The receivers who are rookies aren't going to be on time because we didn't practice it all week. You have to, and this is where I'm going to pull a card out right here. Can I pull out a card real quick?
Fine.
This is me pulling out the coach's card, my coaching experience. Like, you would be surprised. I have done this before, mainly in Arizona when I had a little more pull, where we would run a play. We ran a play in week 1. I know this has happened at least once. We ran a play in week 1, worked great. We didn't practice it for a couple weeks. Then come week 4, I go up to Coach Rice and I say, hey, what about this play that we ran against so-and-so and it worked really well? And he'd be like, look, I see what you're saying. We haven't practiced it in a couple weeks. We can't run it. Okay. If you haven't practiced it, you can't run it. That's just kind of a philosophy 101. Go ahead. I'll finish and then we'll get to our keys.
Just use Ronnie Bell a little bit more. And then you'll be a better team.
I'm never inviting you back. I will say Brock did take the blame for that pick.
Sure.
And it did look like Ronnie Bell was open, if we're being honest. Like, I wish he had just thrown it to Ronnie Bell. But regardless, unforgivable. We lost the Rams game because he freaking was a big. If he just catches that ball, you're going to go down and kick a field goal in the game. So
I know. So anyway,
screw that guy. Okay. Do you want to go first on your keys of the game?
Sure, I'll go first.
You go first, and then I'll finish.
If the Cowboys are going to beat the 49ers, it's going to start and end and have everything to do with Dak. If Dak is good, we could win this game. If he's bad, we have no chance. Because you can say, we need to stop the run, we need to run the ball. We're last in rushing in the NFL. Okay? We are terrible at rushing. We're bottom last team in the league in rushing the ball yards per game. So it's going to start with Dak. If Dak can throw the ball to CD, to Turbert, to Turpin, to Ferguson, if we can get those guys going, then we can win the game. Our red zone offense also has to be better. We're bottom 3 in red zone offense and bottom 3 in red zone defense. Like, we're not very good in those areas.
Sure.
Okay? We're fine between the 20s, but we cannot keep guys out of the end zone and we can't push it in. And that's because we have no running game. Okay. And so teams are not worried about stopping the run when we're goal to go.
Sure. We were talking a little bit before. So you don't think they'll even...
I don't think they're going to...
try to run the game.
They're not going to try to run the game. They're not going to try to run the ball. They're not going to try... They're going to try to stop the run because you guys are out... Are you out, Jennings? Is he going to play?
He's questionable. I bet Jennings plays. I bet Debo doesn't.
If Debo doesn't play, if Ayuk is out, if your receivers are gone, we have to guard Cowing and Bell. Pearsall. Then we'll be okay stacking the box and trying to limit you guys.
Yeah.
As long as we eliminate the big plays, I think we'll be okay.
Okay.
But we're not going to try to run the ball. It's going to be through Dak. Dak's going to have to win you this game, or Dak's going to lose you this game. And I think Mike McCarthy has realized that. I think he's just abandoned the run for the year and say, I'm going to try to get Dak to throw the ball to score touchdowns.
How good does Dak have to be to win the game?
An A.
Give me like some type of stat line.
Type of stat line?
Like not a outlandish but
no. He's got to throw between 320, 350 yards, and at least 3 touchdowns. Like that's what we have to do to win the game.
Okay.
We only have 2 rushing touchdowns in the whole season through 6 games. Only 2 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
We're not going to rush the ball, and one of those was against the Cleveland. I was supposed to say Cleveland Indians.
Might as well be the Indians.
So one of those was against Cleveland, and the other one I can't remember. But I mean, we're not going to rush the ball. We're not even going to try. Yeah. So it has to be with Dak. That's the only way we're going to win the game.
Are you more worried about your defense or your offense?
Yeah, no. our defense. I'm worried about our defense.
Because no DeMarcus Lawrence.
No Micah.
We don't know about Micah.
We don't know about Micah, but I don't think he's going to play.
He's probably not 100% even if he plays.
Bland is questionable. I don't know if he's going to return this week or not. No D-Law, no Micah. So you're relying on Ogidizua and our couple first-round picks.
Eric Kendricks is banged up.
Nealon is out. I mean, your defense is just we're just as hurt on defense as you guys are on offense.
Yeah.
And so I'm worried we're not going to be able to stop anything.
The truth is with all those guys out, even if you stack the box, you might not be able to stop the run. It's not a guarantee.
Not a guarantee. Because you guys are running that stretch play. I hope Overshown has his best game of his career.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that we're going to be able to stop you guys from getting 6-8 yards a carry.
Sure. I agree with your assessment as far as like you've got 49ers receivers out, stack the box. After how bad Purdy played, I would just be like, look, if we're going to lose this game, it's going to be because Purdy burns us. But he showed on film, like, if you stop the run, like he can struggle. He can make bad decisions. So that's what I would say. Now, do you have an official score prediction?
I do think we're going to lose this game. I do think we're going to lose.
I can't believe you honestly said that on camera. I was expecting. I know you said
we're not a good team.
Okay, but I know you said that. You said that before we started recording. But I was expecting you to come out and say, "We're going to win."
We're going to win. No, we're not going to win.
Look at you being honest.
Get off me. First of all, we win against mediocre quarterbacks and mediocre running attacks. Okay, we beat the Giants. We beat Cleveland. We beat Pittsburgh. Because they have mediocre quarterbacks and not an ideal running game. Sure. And we're okay with stopping those teams. Okay. You guys have a good quarterback and a great running attack. We're not going to be able to stop you. We're not going to be able to stop you in the red zone. I know you guys have been bad in the red zone on scoring, but I don't think we're going to stop you guys from scoring.
Yeah.
We're so hurt on defense, I don't think we're going to stop you. So I think it's going to be a game like, 30-20 is probably what it's going to be end up turning into.
That's your official.
You guys are going to win.
30-20.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope we win, and if we do, it's because of Dak. But
how dare you hope that the Cowboys win?
Yeah, I'm going to be rooting against you. And to say you don't like the Cowboys at the beginning of the video is the worst thing you've ever said. You root against us every week. There's not a team.
I don't openly root. Not when I'm hanging out with you.
No.
I don't openly root.
But if we're playing the Giants, you root for the Giants. If we're playing the Steelers, you root for the Steelers. There might be no.
You do the same.
There's only 3 teams he roots for. You root for us against 3 teams: the Cardinals, the Rams, the Seahawks. That's it.
Maybe the Eagles. I hate the Eagles.
Maybe the Eagles. Everybody hates the Eagles.
And the effing Chiefs, dude. F those guys.
Chiefs.
And F their fans, dude. Screw them.
Dude.
They love being in the comments. That's a fair assessment. It's a fair assessment. Here's my keys to the game. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
My keys to the game. Seth's 3 keys to the game. First, with wide receivers out, this is the most obvious thing of all time. But with wide receivers out, you got to run the ball 30 times. It has to be ground and pound. Let's just freaking run the ball.
Yep.
Most of the time, I am anti, and I arguing with some 49er fans on Twitter about it. I'm anti when they stack the box. People get mad that Kyle Shanahan won't just run it. I'm like, guys, that's not good football. Like, you got to take what the defense is giving you, and if you've got a quarterback and receivers that can make plays, trust your quarterback and receivers to make plays, even though it hasn't always worked out the best. This game, I feel different. If Dallas is stacking the box anyway with all your injuries, I still would like to test them and still run into the wall and just see what happens, because I think that by late second quarter, third quarter, they're gonna be worn down, and it will be a physical game that they don't want.
Yeah, when we get worn down, our gap integrity sucks.
Yeah.
So that's when you're gonna take advantage of
That's
us.
what I would just commit to that, and that's what I would commit to. Especially because I don't think your offense is gonna light us up. So I think just because of the one-dimensional factor, I'm not saying you won't score points, but I'm not worried about you running away with it. Like, it's not like when you play the Lions and you're scared they're going to run away with it if you don't. So I'm fine saying if the game moves slow because we're just freaking forcing the run, I'm okay with it because I think we're going to get enough stops against you guys that we can withstand that till the second half.
Okay.
Second, with those receivers being out, Kyle Shanahan, I need you to manufacture some touches for Cowing and Pearsall and get something going with them. Last week, You had a quick wide receiver screen to Jacob Cowing. It was fantastic. That's what I need. I need manufactured touches. I'm going to get that guy the ball. I'm going to get Pearsall the ball. If I don't see, Kyle Shanahan, you look me in the eyes right now. If I don't see a single jet sweep to Pearsall or Cowing, I'm going to lose my mind. I know you don't care because I'm a YouTuber with 200 subscribers, but I'm just saying if you don't, that is the easiest way to get the defense on their heels a little bit. Just switch it up. Get your Cowing is the fastest receiver you have. Give him a jet sweep. Even if it's not going to work on the first drive, just give him a jet sweep. Get the defense thinking. Go back to it later where you fake the motion. All that. Please manufacture some touches for these guys because you don't have. You're not going to have Debo. If you're watching after the fact and you have Debo, great, fantastic. But I'm not planning on Debo being there. Hopefully Jennings is there. Your other reliable one is Kittle. But let's get these young guys the ball in their hands because they're explosive. They're not polished wide receivers that are going to dominate a whole game, but they're explosive with the ball in their hands. Please get them the ball. You don't have to force it to them 10 times, but give them 1 or 2. And then lastly, avoid the special teams blunder. I'm not even saying, of course, avoid a blocked punt, avoid a missed field goal. But can we just tackle on punt return, on punt team? Can we just tackle? Can we just tackle somebody and stop giving up? Because it's such a momentum shift, such a momentum swing. We did this against the Chiefs. We gave up a long punt return. I think it was in the first half. I don't remember. You were watching that game. I don't remember when it was. But it's a momentum swing, and they were able to score. Can we just
second quarter?
I don't want to remember a single special teams play after the game. That would be great. Be like, oh, we made all our field goals, and everything else was a blur.
You say that, but what do the Cowboys do best?
They're good on special teams.
We're the best on special teams.
Yeah.
We have the best field goal kicker. Turpin's awesome. Yeah. We have look it up. Look up the sets. I just looked this up. We have the best return yards.
Yeah.
Per game, and punt return yards per game. We're top 3.
Yeah.
We're really good on special teams. Bones has us locked in on special teams.
Oh, I guarantee a fake punt coming.
For you guys?
No, for you guys.
For us?
Against us, guaranteed.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kyle Shanahan, every kick needs to be out of the back of the end zone.
Yep.
Every punt, just punt it out of bounds. Punt it out of bounds. Don't even. That's where I'm at with it.
Turpin runs it back. What are you doing?
I'm gonna break my TV. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't afford a new TV though, so I can't do that.
Yeah.
I think my official prediction.
What's your score prediction? I said 30-20. What you got?
I'm gonna be in that similar vein. Now I don't have as much confidence in the 49ers as you do. I think it's gonna be.
You overestimate our defense. Our defense is not good.
I think it's gonna be because here's what I think. I think they're gonna get up. And Kyle Shanahan is just going to try to get out of there. So I don't think he's going to be ultra aggressive. I think if he has any success in the run game, it's going to be, hey, let's get a lead, and then we're going to ground and pound and get out of this game with a win and move on to our bye week because we don't have anybody. So I'm going to say this is 24-20.
Oh, you think we're going to cover?
Yeah, 24-20.
Okay.
That's what I think. I don't have any faith in this team to be able to blow anybody out, or once they get a lead, hold on to that lead. I don't have any faith right now.
I think whoever's winning at halftime is going to win the game.
Interesting.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I don't have any confidence in our defense. Little confidence in our offense. A lot of confidence in Brendan Aubrey.
Yeah.
How many 60-yard field goals he's going to kick?
Dude, can we just get a 70-yarder attempt, please?
I wanted to do
I'm all
Cleveland.
for it. I want to watch it. So I know they should have against Cleveland. And that stupid delay game penalty. You guys, appreciate you tuning in. Like the video, subscribe. Appreciate it. It all helps. If you guys like it, maybe Scott and I will do more. We'll see. But yeah.
Go Cowboys.
Screw you, dude. Go Niners.